You know, a lot of people in Thailand seem to support the woman completely. You know, what's fair enough. You know, they give them money each month, and the man pays for everything, and then the woman looks after them as much as they can. But fair play to Joy. She's okay. We're going to do this video. This video is going to be based on the 12 months that I've been living in Thailand, in Pattaya, and then obviously going back to the UK a few times. So it's going to be based on girlfriend, 10 months, well 11 months with my girlfriend, fiance now, who we've got engaged to. The pros and cons, a bit of a review from the last video I did. Obviously that was when I was just first with Joy, and a little bit about the day-to-day routine and the lifestyle, and do I have any regrets. I often come here in the swimming pool and just reflect on life. Most mornings when I do my swim, and just have a good think, make sure I've done the right thing, I'm happy, look at my life in the UK, and start comparing things, you know. Obviously the main thing is family, and most people who come and move away or do something different, that's the main thing that holds them back. But yeah, so we're going to break down all the goods and bads, and my my overall opinion over the last 10-12 months since I've been in and out of Thailand, and how I feel when I come back to UK. So I'm going to do a video on my thoughts over the last 12 months of being in Thailand and being backwards and forth to the UK, and how I feel in life right now, and obviously with going out with yourself and being engaged to you.
What you feel?
Well, this is what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I ask you what you feel.
Well,
Good?
I feel very good, thanks, yeah. Quite happy, but I was going to break my way into that part.
Okay, you walk, you talk, I go walk, okay?
Ballet. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to the video. Let's get back to the video. Right, yeah, so yeah, this is where I come and reflect. Do my swimming, have a look around, the sun's shining, trees, green, nice green scenery, nice quiet people in this little village where I live. It's a lovely, quiet, nice, relaxing neighbourhood. So yeah, at the moment I feel quite happy, you know. So I feel very happy. Wake up every day, got no stress, no worry, nothing rushing me, no anxiety. You know, every morning I just sort of see how I feel and plan my routine from there. You know, the weather on its own puts you in a good mood before you even start, so that's a bonus. You know, in Thailand you've got good weather pretty much most of the year. Well, it's warm most of the year. Obviously you've got your rainy season, but most of the time it's even when it's rainy season, you've got like 50-50, half a day's rain, half a day's sunshine. So having the sun in the morning definitely is a great boost. That's a big positive, you know. And then things like just coming to a swimming pool, you know, most condos or little villages you live in, if there's houses, or you know, most places have their own pool. Even if you decided you wanted to branch out and rent a villa, what you could quite easily do, you know, you could rent a villa for 1,200-1,500 quid a month, you know, if you had enough money, and have have your own private pool and the full luxuries that you'd never get in the UK. But I'm not that wealthy, so like I say, I just rent a nice house, you know what I mean, and we've got this little swimming pool here, and it's normally quiet, so I'm happy to come here every morning and do my little swim and a little reflection on how things are going. So yeah, so you've got your swimming pool, do my swim at morning, what I'm grateful for, you know, compared to the UK, what would I normally be doing at this time at morning? I'd be normally getting ready for work, tattooing, doing designs, rushing around, you know. So it's a no-brainer. The mornings are far better. You know, you got the sun, like you said. You got the swimming pool. You know, you got the nice weather. The people you know, the culture of Thailand is got to be one of the main things really. Well, yeah, probably not. It's a mixture of on the top five things. Culture of people. Until you've experienced it and spent a bit of time over here, you're not going to really appreciate it. And especially when you spend time over here and then you go back to UK, then you really start appreciating it, and you go backwards and forth, and then you just see the difference massively. People's faces, you know, when you go back to UK, they look depressed, they look anxious. You know, everyone's in a rush. You know, you even get people, you know, I don't know, it's just gone crazy. I don't want to start slating it off too much, but I can really feel the difference between coming to Thailand, where the culture's very relaxed. The culture's just nice, a lot nicer. You know, people say hi, and you know, people bow at you, and just a lot more relaxed atmosphere. Don't feel on edge when you're walking into town or you're walking towards other people, you know. And I'm sure there's lots of places in the UK where you're not going to feel like that, but the average town now, Manchester, Liverpool, you walk into town centre, you know, even Morecambe now, Lancaster, you know, you see a group of lads walking towards you and you think straight away, you know, your body goes into alert mode and you think danger, you know what I mean. And this is me being a young lad, still a young lad really, not a young lad, but you know, imagine these people in the 60s and 70s where they just literally can't defend themselves. These young kids these days in the UK would, you know, they don't think twice of attacking any elderly person. Thailand, people have got respect. The kids have got respect for the adults. Families are living together. You know, the kids seem to be on a different sort of level of you know, personality and attitude, and the way they, you know, the way they do things. So that goes to Thailand again. Like you said, the culture and the people, and affordability. Affordability, you know, in Thailand is it's just, you know, it's like a quarter. Well, where we live up at CM Country Club area, near the lake, we're a bit out of the way from all the main town and stuff. You know what I mean? So, you know, for an example, you get a coconut up near where we live for 30 baht. You go into Pattaya, you're going to be paying 90 baht. You know what I mean? So we live cheaper because we're a little bit away from all the hustle and bustle, and we're more surrounded by more Thai people. What I prefer, to be honest, I prefer it. I've got nothing against Russians and Germans, and you know, they're all okay, but when you're around tourists all the time, you know, I feel like I've come to Thailand to get away from all that shit. So I'm quite happy where I'm at now. There's some nice old blokes on here, some expats, some English ones, and Holland bloke, he's sound. So you can have a bit of a chit chat, you know what I mean? And you got the gyms and stuff. So many gyms in Thailand. You know, there's like gyms, 4 gyms I can just think of straight away, just walking distance from our hotel. I mean our house. You know, and wherever you live in Pattaya or whichever part of Thailand, I would imagine there's going to be a lot of different gyms around, you know, around your area. Some fantastic golf courses, and everything's so much cheaper. You know, you can go and have a game of golf, proper game. You know, where you go and do your 18 holes, you got your own caddy, you got hire all your clubs, and it's peanuts compared to what you pay in the UK. You know. You go to a gym over here, if you want to just turn up at a gym, you know, £2 for a session. You know, all the fancy boxing gyms, and you know, 100 baht. Private sessions, you know, you can get them, you know, at 500 baht, £12. You know, you're looking at private sessions now in the UK for anything really, 35, 45 quid. You know what I mean? So things are a lot cheaper, so you can have a lot better living lifestyle over here. You know, where can I ever rent a big house like I'm renting now? You know, a big detached house, 3 bedrooms, plenty of land. You know, you open the doors, patio doors, you got the sun coming out. You know, you got your little table outside. You're in a nice neighbourhood with a swimming pool. You know, 500 quid a month. You know, you can't even fucking rent a caravan for that in Morecambe. It's great, you know, so it's a no-brainer. you know, you got the food. The food's fantastic. You know, the restaurants over here. You know, in Pattaya, there's so many different nice restaurants you can go and eat out. You know, we went out last night and just had an Indian round our area, a couple of glasses of wine each, and went for a drinking bar, and it come to like 1600 baht. That's probably 35 quid for both of us. That's for a 3-course Indian meal, a couple of drinks there, and we had a drink in one of the bars. So, you know, you go to UK, you pay a lot more for that. So yeah, the food's a lot cheaper than the UK, especially if you're going out for meals and stuff. Hi, love. So he's just getting some of his steps in. She sometimes comes and just relaxes at the pool while I do my swimming. Like I say, my routine up to now, well, this morning I've got up out of bed. Felt a little bit tired from last night because I had a couple of glasses of wine. I don't normally drink. Straight to the gym, did my 12 rounds boxing. Got the access to use all the gym in the daytime whenever I want. Just give them the 100 baht. So I've got the use of the full gym while it's quiet. They have a session on at 3:30, so I tend to go before then, and then come home and got changed, got my 2 coconuts and some pineapple, and had them, boosted my energy levels up a little bit and hydrated, and then just come for a swim. It's like 12 o'clock now, 12:30. So, you know, the weather's nice, it's like 30 degrees. You know, this is what many people dream for, this sort of lifestyle, you know, where you can just, you know, you could just, you know, make your day as you want it to be, you know what I mean? You know, make your day however you want. For me, it's all about self-care and, you know, looking after myself while I'm over here. I'm not a big drinker, don't really like going out to bars and stuff, unless it's, you know, the ones with live bands and stuff, you know. I can't be doing with all hustle and bustle. Prefer the quieter places, but for me, like I say, it's always has been the nice weather, the nice food, and being able to afford to live in a place on a tropical island, basically. And if you get bored of Pattaya, or you get bored of wherever you're stopping, you know, we've lived in, well, not lived, but we stopped in Bangkok for a bit. Girlfriend's got some apartments in Bangkok where she rents out, so when one of them was empty, we stopped there for a bit. Stopped in Phuket for probably a month, did a lot of training down there with one of my friends, and then I went back with girlfriend, did some more training. So I've had a good mooch around Phuket. I know pretty much most places, especially with having a Thai girlfriend, she showed us around. Pattaya, I've been to quite a few, well, a couple of different islands, one what we've been to twice. But what I'm saying is, if you want to jump away and just have a little week's break, you know, you're only a couple hour drive to, you know, to the ferry, to, you know, to the port where you can just jump on a boat and jump, you know, fly over sail over to a different island. So you can have you know, you can be on a different island within half a day, and you know, if you pick the right time to go and visit, you know, you can get some fantastic deals, you know, some 5-star hotels, you know, for like 50 quid a night, what you'd never get normally, you know. So yeah, so what I'm saying is, you can have a cheap holiday for peanuts if you wanted just to get away from Pattaya and shoot off to a different place. So you don't get that in the UK. You know what I mean? These are the things that you just don't get. Yeah, so that's my thoughts up to now. You know, the downsides are obviously missing my family, my dad, my little lad, granddaughter. You know, my mum and stuff, brothers. But I always say to them, look, I'm only 24 hours away. If I need to, I can always come back. You know, hopefully little lad's going to start coming over once a year. I'll pay for that, and hopefully my dad gets a bit healthier, he can start coming over a couple of times a year, and that'll just, and my mum says she's going to come over, so that's enough for me, really, you know what I mean? That'd be ideal. Lucky enough we've got internet and WhatsApp and all that, where you can just talk to them on you know, face to face now, so that breaks the ice of not seeing people. But you can't, you know, you can't put your life on hold, especially when you're getting older. I'm 46, nearly 46 now, 45, and I thought about it deeply. You know, I could hang around in Morecambe for another 10 years and be fed up like I was. I was getting quite fed up and down and was doing the same routine. I could be in that same position, doing the same stuff every day, looking after my dad or helping my dad and being there for my dad. But then that's 10 years of my life gone, you know what I mean? It might be 15 years of my life gone. You're only as good as you are now. Tomorrow could be a different story. Week after it could be, you might not be here. You might come down with an illness or disease. People are dropping left, right and centre. So sometimes I feel like I've been a bit selfish, but you've got to really look out for yourself. Obviously, if I needed to be, can be home in fucking, like I say, a day. You know what I mean? I could be home tomorrow if I wanted to be. I could jump on a plane tonight and be home and deal to anything what I need to if it really comes to. And like I say, hopefully my ideal scenario would be me go back to UK once a year, and my dad and little Lee come whenever they want. Got rooms for them in here, accommodation. It's everyone's got to make the effort. I think it's not just one way. You know what I mean? Everyone's got to pull in a little bit and make the effort to do these things. You know what I mean? And even if that's making the effort to get healthy and fit to come over here and do things, or take your time off work, or whatever. I think everyone's got to chip in a little bit, but anyway, that's that. That's that side of it. With family and stuff, it is hard, but you've got to make your decision. But yeah, as things stand at the moment, I'm totally happy, totally fine. Happy in my relationship, happy in my house, happy with my routine, happy with Thailand. I like the culture, I like the water, I like everything about it, and I feel so much more better as a person, mentally and physically. I've got a great girlfriend. She does absolutely everything for me. It's like the old sort of tradition where she looks after me, and we help each other. We both chip in, and we both have a good standard of living for on a low price, because we don't need a lot. We don't need a lot to make us happy. We every day I say to Joy, even if I won a lottery tomorrow, our life wouldn't really change, because we do the things that we like to do. We go for walks, different days, different walks. We get our 10,000 steps in. I go for a swim. We go to a gym together. We go for a meal once a week. We got a car. Don't really know what else you need. You know what I mean? Like you say, it's just simple, basic things. You know what I mean? Got the, and I wouldn't really change my life if I had more money. I might get a fucking pickup or something, but I could buy if I really wanted to tomorrow, but I choose not to, because I've gone through that spell of wasting money. It's all about buying time for myself now, and having time, quality time, to do what I want to do before my life's over, because you only got one life, and you've got to remember that. It's so true. One life, so you've got to live it and make the most of it. But yeah, totally happy with my relationship. Like I say, got engaged, and quite happy together. We're just, a lot of people in Thailand seem to support the woman completely. What's fair enough. They're giving money each month, and the man pays for everything, and then the woman looks after them as much as they can. But fair play to Joy. She's got her own money. She don't ask for any money. We work together on things. She chips in, I chip in. And then obviously it's nice to treat each other every now and again. I like to, surprise her with little gifts or flowers or whatever. And that's just the way it should be. And I always say, if I do well, you'll do well. If you do well, I'll do well. We just work together and let our relationship evolve that way. And then that way you're not being with each other for any other reason apart from wanting to be with each other. So that's the way we see things anyway, and I'm happy with that, and she's happy with that, and like you say, we just take it as it goes, one day at a time, 1 month at a time, but up to now it's all good, and I'm happy. So on that note, would I ever go back to the UK? Obviously I will always go back to see my family, see my kids, see my dad, my mum. Going back to work, obviously I'll have to go back to work when I need to, but I had done a lot of I've worked hard when I'm younger to give myself a life now where I can actually live off a passive income, and we can probably going to make a video really how I've managed to create a passive income in the UK with doing some investing and you know, and using my skills at a younger age to and my ability to invest in things what are eventually paying me back a little bit of money now to live a luxury life, or shall I say a luxury life for us, where a lot of times the money we live off, a lot of people won't last them. It won't last them a week or 2 weeks. But like I say, we don't drink hardly, you know. We're not big drinkers. I'm not into bars, you know. I just do all the natural things in life, and I'm quite happy with that. So yeah, so all good. So yeah, so basically the blog, what I'm going to put on YouTube is 10-12 months living in Thailand with my girlfriend, pros and cons about living in Thailand, going back to England, and that's it really. Yeah. I suppose I could go on a few bad things and put a few more bad things about England if I wanted to. You know, the tax, we're getting taxed to death. You know what I mean? Prices, inflation has gone through the roof. You know, we're not making no money in our bank accounts. The money we're making in our bank accounts, inflation's taking over year by year. You know, the rules what the government are putting in now, you know, can't even buy a property and you know, try and make some money on anything really. You can go on and on. People are depressed, people have got anxious, people have got mental problems. You know, the world's fucking gone crazy, man. The healthcare's on its arse in the UK. There's more violence, more crime in the UK than ever. The schools are teaching you a load of shite to the kids, you know. They're not teaching you anything except from what the government are planning, you know, what they want to teach you, you know. Listen to some of the YouTube videos about all the school teaches you nothing. Too many people are brainwashed and put in the into the system, and they can't snap out of it, so you can't do anything for them. Just got to leave them, ghost yourself and make your own path. Separate yourself and do what you need to do for yourself. No one cares about you, you know. All your hundreds of fucking friends you've got, you'll be lucky if you've got one or two proper ones, you know what I mean? Everyone's too busy with their own life, and I get it, you know what I mean? People are far too busy, you know, they've got their own problems because they're in their own, you know, they're in their own circle. So it is what it is. You got to fend for yourself, look after your family, keep your circle very, very small. Have one or two good selected friends, and that's it, mate. And stay strong, stay healthy, keep your body strong. You get mine. God bless. Take care. Okay, love. I'll do my swim. I've done my video now.